So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had your lunch and feeling very sleepy, but I'm going to disturb you. Okay. So in the morning session you learned about minerals, am I right? Okay, now my presentation is about identification of rocks. So can anybody tell me, okay, this is the general lineup of my presentation, what rocks are, how to identify them, what are the factors of identifying rocks, and why do we need to identify rocks. Okay, so can anybody tell me what a rock is? Sorry? Combination of minerals, okay. Any other answers? Any different answers than that? Is that right? A rock is a combination of minerals. Is that a correct statement? Yes? Yes, that is correct. Okay. So, simply, rocks are hard material composed of mainly minerals. Right? The things you learned in the morning session. So, why do we need to identify rocks in your day-to-day life? What do you want? To grind some chilies? Or maybe to sharpen your knife? Yes? I mean, we don't need to identify rocks other than that, right? In our day-to-day life. Or maybe to use as a doorstop, or to chase away a dog, right? But identification of rocks is important for engineers, geologists, and researchers, for so many people. Briefly speaking, to build massive structures like buildings, huge buildings, and when you make tunnels, when you construct roads, you need to identify what rocks types you are dealing with, right? When you create a foundation, you got to know what is underneath, what is below, right? If not, if you are not aware of what you are dealing with when constructing huge buildings, what will happen? They will collapse, right? They will break down. And when you creating tunnels, have you gone through tunnels? Where? Have you gone where? Mahayam? Yes? Rambode? Right? So you just can't dig into mountains and go through that without knowing anything. You have to identify what are the rock types they are, and what are the special features that you will come across when constructing tunnels, right? Other than that, have you seen tarring of roads, making roads? What do they use as the material? Small metal, right? As the foundation, they use metal. So, in those cases, we need to identify what is the best rock type to be used in such constructions and other things, right? And have you seen landslides? Do you know what landslide is? Yes? Can somebody tell me what is a landslide? Earth slips. Yeah? And even rock falls. Huge blocks of rocks, they tend to fall. And those are also termed as landslides. Right? So, during landslides, what tend to move? What are the things that move? Soil. Right? Trees and buildings, everything, right? So, soils are formed by rocks. So, the identification of rocks is important even in landslide mitigations. Okay? And have you ever felt any earthquakes? Have you ever felt? Have you? No? Okay. Do you know any earthquakes? Any records of earthquakes? In which year? In 2004? Which we were also affected by tsunami, right? So, to analyze earthquakes, that means what is the speed of the waves that the earthquake travel? in order to identify the wave speed and the properties of the earth, we need to know the rock types that we are dealing with. What are the rock types that we are dealing with, right? And as I told you earlier, most of the construction materials are made by rocks. What do you come across around the Puttalam Jaffna region? Yes? Limestone. So why do we need limestone in construction material? To make cement. So even in construction field, other than that, you need huge rock blocks to build dams, walls, right? As retaining walls, you need rock material. So you can't take randomly the rock types that you are coming across, right? So you have to select what is the best rock type for which purpose. Okay? So history, I'll come to that later. So how do we identify rocks? Do you see any, do you differentiate rocks? Can you differentiate rocks? If I give you samples, can you do that? I mean, this is this rock and that rock like that. It's hard, right? So in order to identify rocks, first we can use our naked eye, right? You get the sample and look at it. What are the colors? And if you can't look closely, you can use hand lenses or even simple chemicals like hydrochloric acid. Such things you can use to identify rocks in hand specimen level. That means you can touch them, right? That is one way of identifying rocks, the method of identifying rocks. What is the other one? The microscopic level. Have you seen the slides of plant materials, thin sections? You know thin sections. So just like that, we can prepare thin sections from rocks. Okay, which I will show you in the practical class. We can prepare small thin sections from rocks. And using these microscopes, you can identify what are the minerals. What are the minerals that helps to build this rock, right? So identifying minerals, by identifying minerals, you can say what is the chemical composition of these rocks. So that helps to identify what are the rock types. Okay. So what are the things that we consider in identifying rocks? Can somebody tell me? In hand specimen level, I just mentioned a few things. Color. Color of what? What is it made of? Rocks? Minerals. So color of minerals is important, right? So the other thing is composition. That means, again, composition means mineralogical composition. That you have to keep in mind, okay? When we talk about the composition of rocks, we are not referring to the chemical composition. It is true that we need the chemical composition, but what is most important is the mineralogical composition. Minerals are formed of chemical elements, but in identifying rocks or to classify rocks, we need to know what the mineralogical composition is. Okay? And again, texture. What is texture? Did you come across with that term in the previous lecture? Texture? No? Okay. Texture is the arrangement of minerals in a rock relative to one another. Okay? Now if you take mineral A, mineral B, mineral C in a rock, so how do they arrange in a rock with each other? Are they parallel? Are they perpendicular? Are they packed? Are they forming any special features? Like, can you see this one? You see these lines of dark and light color. So that is a texture. And in this one, do you see any peculiar lines? No. So what do you see in this one? Lights open. Different colors. What are the colors do you see in this one? Yes. Some pinkish face and black color. So other than the special features that you see in this one, right? Any linear features, the percentages of different minerals, right? The percentages of different minerals is also considered as what? Texture. So texture can be special features like this, and even the relative percentages of different minerals. Okay? Am I too fast? So what controls the components of rocks? Again, what are the components of rocks? Minerals, right? So each and every rock, do you know the rock cycle by any terms? Sedimentary rocks, metamorphic, yes, up to some extent. So among these all, every type of rock, they have a source. So from one source, they have to be made. Sedimentary, whether it's igneous or metamorphic, they have to be made from a specific source. So the composition of these rocks, these three types of rocks, is governed by the source, which I'll be discussing later. Okay? And the texture. What is the meaning of texture? The arrangement of minerals with relative to each other, okay, or the composition, right? So mainly the texture is controlled by the conditions of the formation environment, simply the pressure and the temperature, right? So some rocks tend to form under the seabed, and some tend to form under the Earth's interior, right? And another rock types tend to form on the surface. Yeah, sedimentary rocks are the ones formed under the sea.